Hey friends, welcome back. Today I thought I would give you a tour of my plant pots. I make a lot of my own pottery. I also thrift a lot of my plant pots. As I have sort of decreased how many plants I'm buying because I'm kind of maxed out on how much time and space I have for plants. So I'm buying less plants, I'm collecting less plants. I have really started to get more into how the plants are displayed. I think that is a really interesting part of this hobby as well. And so I thought you might also enjoy seeing the pots that I have chosen. I'll tell you a little bit about each one as I go. If that sounds like a good time, stay tuned. We're gonna start on this top shelf. I am really proud of these pots. These four are all handmade by me and I feel like they're really unique, really interesting. I made these three pots intentionally really tall so that they could support taller plants or plants that kind of have longer petioles like my gloriosum and my plowmanii. They will support the petioles and the plant won't be so floppy. I feel like they turned out really well. This one is one of the first larger plant pots that I made, and it does have a lot of imperfections. There's a lot of cracks, but the cool thing about making plant pottery is that even if it doesn't turn out perfectly, it's okay. When you make plates or mugs or cups, if there's a crack, you really can't use it. It's not food grade. However, with plant pots, you can still use them. I try to put drainage holes in all of my homemade pots, but I often end up using them as cover pots anyway. This pot is made out of red, brown terracotta clay, and then I put tape on and then I glazed it and then I removed the tape, and that is how I made this interesting design. My philodendron Jose Bono seems to be loving it. This one is just a cute little flower print. I kind of was inspired by like SpongeBob and tropical flowers like that. This is again the red brown clay, and I cut out duct tape in the shape of these flowers, stuck it on, and then glazed it pink. I have my little baby philodendron ring of fire in this one. This one is my most recent creation. I used a roller to create this texture. It's really, really cool to feel. And then I used a glaze that is purple but contains flecks of black that kind of moves during the firing. My philodendron gloriosum seems to be enjoying it. I made this pot with my philodendron plowmanii in mind. This plant, I love this plant, but it just has really, really long petioles and it can get really floppy. By putting it in a really tall pot, it first of all makes it look incredible, but it also supports those petioles so that they stand upright. I feel like having really tall pots really elevates a larger plant. It calls attention to the plant, it pulls the eye upwards, and just makes the whole thing look great. I did not make this pot. This one I found at Winners, I believe, or HomeSense a long time ago. I really like the pink. I think the pink looks great. I know a lot of plant people are really into neutrals, the beiges, browns. I appreciate that palette, but I do want to have pops of pastel color. That's just what I like. And there is a little alien in there protecting my philodendron tiger tooth. A lot of my plants have little critters or mushrooms or aliens or monsters stuck into the soil. I think it just adds a little bit of extra interest and whimsy, and those little miniatures are really fun for me to make. Moving down the shelf, these are all smaller plants, so smaller pots. This pot is absolutely beautiful. It's not really in the same palette as most of my pots. I did not make this one, but it is definitely handmade. It actually was left in the yard of this house when we bought the house, and we kept it because it's really, really beautiful. What I find interesting about this is it has like a little plug in the drainage hole. So depending on how you're using the pot, you can take that plug in or out, therefore making it a cover pot or just a regular pot with drainage, which is cool. These other pots up here, I thrifted all of them. So you can see they're really cute. Some of them are pretty basic, but definitely really cute. A lot of them still have the tags on them. I feel like there are already so many plant pots floating around in the world that I really can find very interesting things from thrift stores. And they're not always one of a kind. A lot of them have tags on the bottom that say Walmart or HomeSense or whatever, but they're interesting to me, and they're usually only $1 or $2, and you're keeping them out of the landfill. This is not really a pot, but it is a pickle jar. I love doing pickle jar terrariums. It's a really, really good way to use any large jars you have, and also saves you a lot of money because you don't need to go out and buy a fancy terrarium. I've got a begonia in here, as well as some string of turtles and a peperomia. Down on this bottom shelf, I have most of my smaller plants and my smaller plant pots. Let's start with one of my absolute favorites. This is my alien head. It's got haworthias growing out the top to make it look like hair or maybe a brain. I made this plant pot specifically with this plant in mind. I made it on the wheel, trying to make it into this alien head shape, and then I added the eyes on after firing. In addition to handmade clay pots, I also have a lot of terracotta pots. I think that terracotta is a really good option. It's good for your plants. It's pretty cheap and you can reuse them forever. As these pots age, the clay is slowly absorbing any minerals or salts, and this can show up on the outside of the pot. This is called patina. It is interesting patterns emerge. It almost looks like watercolor sometimes. I definitely prefer an aged terracotta to a brand new terracotta. I think it has a little bit of character. You can wash the patina off with like baking soda, but I wouldn't bother. It doesn't hurt the plant and it definitely adds interest to the pot. This is another pot that I thrifted. I really like that it's on a pedestal and that it's really nice and tall. It's perfect for a trailing plant. The plant isn't trailing onto the shelf or onto the floor, and it really elevates the look of the plant. The one thing with pedestal pots like this is they can be a little bit top heavy or tippy, so I try to keep this one at the back of the shelf where it's less likely to get bumped by my dogs or my kids. This is another one of my favorite pots that I've made. I really like the combination of this Hoya in this pot as well. I feel like they both look really beautiful together and it's a really eye-catching combo. I used really dark brown or black clay for this one, and I put the design on with wax and then I glazed it with 2 different types of glazes. That is how I got this interesting effect. I really like the shape of it and I feel like it looks really unique. This little tiny pot is another one of my favorites, and my son actually made this. He is getting a little bit into pottery as well. He's taking pottery at school. I really like the shape. The glazing is definitely imperfect, but that really adds character, and obviously it's special because he made it for me. This plant and pot combo is adorable. This Hoya renuensis is growing a lot. It seems to really love this little pot. This pot is from Terrestrial. I really like the one-of-a-kind nature of these types of pots. These are resin, and they do have little feet and a drainage hole, and then I made this little saucer. It's just a pink saucer, but I think it kind of accents the lavender white of this pot and then offsets the beautiful green and veining of the Hoya. I just think this combo is perfection. Overall looks really, really beautiful. And this is another tiny pot from Terrestrial. I have a Haworthia Cooperi in there. I think the blues and whites in the pot really beautifully accent the blue and translucent quality of the Haworthia Cooperi. I feel like this pot is almost made for a Haworthia. It just accents it perfectly, the way that it just kind of domes over the pot. It looks perfect. Here is another one of my homemade pots. I would say this is one of my weirder ones. It's also one of the first ones that I made. It is aliens and alocasia leaves and hearts, and it's got my Hoya compacta in it. This is a cover pot, but it does have a drainage hole, and I even made the drainage hole moon shaped. When I first made this, I was so proud of it. I mean, I'm still proud of it, but it was one of my first successful pieces that just basically turned out exactly how I imagined it. Sometimes with pottery, you have a vision in your mind, but it just doesn't turn out. But this turned out exactly as I imagined it, and I love it. Moving on to this other tall shelf. Up here I have my other philodendron plumanii. I propagated it in the hopes of selling one, but then I decided not to sell one because I wanted to. As you can see, this one is a lot floppier because it's not in a tall pot, but that's okay. This is a thrifted pot. I think it probably was for succulents or something. I love the pink. I think it goes well. I have a lot of pink, I guess, in my plant pot collection. Because it is a wider pot, it allows the plant to crawl across the surface, which is what this type of plant likes to do. I have some floral pins in there. They're just kind of supporting the floppy petiole for now. I didn't want it to be touching the wet soil. I find that sometimes it just takes a little while for it to adjust when it's super floppy, and then it'll start growing upwards again. I recently moved this up there. I think it's just getting used to the new situation and where the light's coming from and everything, so it got a little bit extra floppy. I love this pot. It's ceramic. I'm not sure if it's handmade. It looks like it might have been mass produced, but hard to know sometimes, but I really like the color and the shape. And because it's way up high like this, it's okay that it's shallow. That way the leaves can kind of droop down and be more at, not eye level, but visible. This terracotta pot doesn't really have any patina or anything, but it's mostly covered by the leaves, so it's okay that it's boring. Next, I have this little pot, which I made. I really wanted to design something where you could see the reddish brown clay popping out and contrasting against some pastel colors. I think it turned out really well. When I created this, I did envision putting a trailing plant in here, so I made it a little bit taller just so the plant had a little bit more space to trail down. Obviously, this plant is very long at the moment. Because it's so tall and thin though, I think it will be difficult to get this plant out if I ever want to repot it. So that's something I am thinking about as I design new pots, is when you make them really tall and narrow, it can be really difficult to get all the roots out without damaging the plant. However, I still really like how this looks, and I'm really proud of how this one turned out. Now behind there, I have my Cebu Blue, and it is just in a regular terracotta pot, but to spice it up, to make it look more interesting, I made this plant trellis, plant tiara, plant crown. I think if the Cebu Blue wants to kind of grow around there, that will look really pretty. For now, it's just purely decorative. I think it looks really pretty. I think it just offsets the color of the blue plant and adds some visual interest. I find Cebu Blue really pretty, but it is a little bit boring sometimes, especially when it's just in this plain terracotta pot. But I feel like this adds a little bit of visual interest and kind of frames the plant and makes it look cute. Moving down the shelf, I have another little terrarium here. And I found this vessel just at a thrift store. I thought it was a pretty unique shape, and I definitely envisioned making a terrarium out of it when I picked it up. Inside is a little ghost surrounded by some pilea baby's tears. I'm hoping that the pilea will kind of make a carpet of silver, and then the ghost will be kind of floating in the pilea. This is what I imagine anyway. We'll see what happens. For now, I think it looks pretty perfect right here. And this thing back here, a few people have asked about it in other videos. It is not plant related. It is a phone amplifier. So you just put the phone in here while you're playing music or whatever, and it amplifies the sound and makes it a little bit deeper. It was fun to make. It's interesting to display. Over here, I actually have two of these terrariums. My husband thrifted them for me, and I'm not sure what these were originally used for, but they make really good terrariums as well. I have my Labesia dino skin as well as my black jewel orchid in these. They really like the added humidity, and I think they look really cool. Down on this shelf, I have my philodendron torta. It's just in terracotta, but an interesting shaped terracotta. I found this at a thrift store as well. And you can see a little mushroom in there that I added. This saucer was the top of a candle jar. I thought it was really pretty, so I saved it, and it makes a perfect saucer. Now my Caladium lindenii is in another handmade pot. I really, really like how this one turned out. This one was made using white clay, and I put wax on in the shape of these daisies, and then I glazed it with just shiny black. I really like how it turned out. I like how you can sort of see a brown sort of burn edge around the daisies. I feel like that looks so pretty. So many of these pots, I hope I can just keep them for my entire life. It's kind of like an art collection. It keeps getting better and better. And in there is a little alien friend as well. My Hoya retusa is in this very happy plant pot. This may be my favorite thrift find for plant pots. It is just so happy and perfect. The color, again, is perfect for my sort of pastel palette that I'm going for. And the retusa, I feel, is a perfect match. Hoya retusa is honestly not my favorite Hoya. I find it a little bit odd, but with this plant pot, I love it. I feel like they go together so perfectly. It draws attention to the plant, but also is happy all on its own. Definitely a favorite. This one does not have a drainage hole, so I just always make sure that my plant is in a nursery pot that can drain, and we are good to go. And on the bottom shelf, I have a begonia here. This begonia I am experimenting with keeping outside of the cabinet. So far, it seems happy. I'm a little bit nervous about it. And this is the candle jar that goes with this candle jar lid. Back here, I have a really large plant. And yes, you can get really large plant pots that will fit a large plant like this, but often they are super heavy and super expensive. So I have opted for baskets for my larger plant pots. I find that baskets kind of just soften the space and make things look a little bit cozier, a little bit more homey. I really like this basket. I love this embroidery. I have the plant in a nursery pot and I have a saucer under the nursery pot so that when it drains, it doesn't damage the basket. I feel like baskets are a really good investment. Even if this plant dies or I get rid of it, I won't be stuck with a massive plant pot that I can't use. I will have a basket that I can use for anything else. Over here in this corner, I have another really large plant, my philodendron florida, and I have it in a basket as well. It matches the other basket. They came in a set, so I have a whole bunch of baskets in different sizes. And then this is another thrifted pot. I thought it was really cute. And again, it was like $2 at the thrift store. All right, let's talk about the cabinet. Now inside the cabinet, I have all thrifted pots, I believe. Yes, they are all thrifted. Because it is high humidity in there, I feel like I don't want to put pots in there that I would be really sad if they got like moldy or somehow fell apart. I do have one terracotta pot in there, and then the rest are just all in nursery pots inside thrifted pots. Anthurium here, I have not yet found the perfect pot. I'm still on the lookout. And then these are all, again, just thrift finds. I don't love these white pots. I feel like they're a little bit boring, a little bit overly modern for the look I'm going for in here. But they work and they fit the plant pots that they're in. I find sometimes I can become kind of like a perfectionist with how I'm styling my plants, and honestly, no one else really cares. So in the end, if it fits and it's what I have, I try to just enjoy it and stick with it and not become too much of a perfectionist. Also, look at the new leaf on the Cuprea. That is fabulous. On the top of the cabinet, I think most of these are thrifted with the exception of a couple. This one is a beautiful gold pot for my philodendron dark lore. This was a really good find. I really like the color. I like the finish. It looks a little bit aged. I think it looks really pretty. Now this pot that has my philodendron Jose Buono in it is so cute. It's pearlescent with bubbly hearts all over it. I feel like it is absolutely beautiful. A really good thrift find. Here we have another terracotta pot. This little bunny is one of my favorites. It's a sentimental pot. This was given to me by my husband. It had a little kalanchoe in it, which I promptly killed, but I really love the pot. It's just so cute and it fits in anywhere, even without a plant in it. It looks really beautiful. So I always have that on display. Here's my Hoya carrii, which by the way, has one new leaf that has not died and this new little leaf that is doing really well. I love this pot. It's just really simple and nice. This plant pot, which is housing my beautiful Aglaonemas. I don't actually remember where I got this one. I think I might have been at Winners or thrift store. I'm not sure. I know it wasn't a gift, but I really like the color. Again, goes with my pastel palette. Just really simple. It goes with almost every plant I've ever put in it. It's really pretty. And this plant pot, which has my Prince of Orange in it, I for sure bought from Winners. It was just so cute. I really love the colors. And over here I have another terracotta pot in another candle jar saucer with a little mushroom. This is a Philodendron domesticum propagation. Now back here, I have my string of hearts, and they are living in a vase that I made. I got this template from Pottery to the People, and it's just a really easy project, but I really like how it turned out. The glazing is okay, it's not amazing. I have started growing a string of hearts in water, and I thought it needed a fancy little vase. I really like how this combo looks. It's kind of quirky, kind of cute. I love this area. This is a big, comfy reading armchair, and behind me are my plants and some really beautiful pots that I have made or collected. And then up there, you can't see, but I have some planters on the wall, which I will show you. This is another pot that I made. It's just white clay. I painted on it with black underglaze and then glazed it with clear. I really like how it turned out. And I made the drainage hole heart-shaped, which is really cute. I'm using this as a cover pot right now, so I have like a saucer underneath just so things don't flow out. And a little alien friend in there. I've talked about these two terrariums in the past. This was an incredible thrift store find, and I think it is made for Begonia maculata. I love the combination there. It looks so magical. Looks like some type of like fairy tale forbidden flower or something. And then this globe terrarium is from Pody 5. I have a whole bunch of begonias, baby begonias in there. I really love how it looks very space age, and it looks really nice beside this one. That's just a lamp over there, by the way. When it turns on, it kind of shoots light all over. I'll show you. Here we go. Adds a warm glow to the room. This is another one of my handmade pots. Has little legs on it. I guess this is a cover pot. And just some brown clay with some cute little daisies on there. Again, there is a crack in it, but that's okay. Doesn't matter because it's just a cover pot. I think it really looks good with the Peperomia Hope. It looks so happy. Some people have said this kind of reminds them of fried eggs. It's not what I was going for. I was going for daisies. Up here, I have some plants in some wall planters. I love these wall planters because they're really lightweight. I don't have to worry about them falling on my head or anything. These exact same ones I don't think are made anymore. I haven't been able to see them anymore, but I will link a really similar one to this. They are great. They're pretty affordable. I really like how space saving they are. These are fairly large plants, but they are up there. They're being displayed beautifully, and the pot kind of just blends in with the wall, which in this case is kind of what you want to happen. They are perfect. I love them in groups of 3. I have them in groups of 3 in my bedroom as well. I just think they look correct like that. Just one on its own, I don't know, looks a little bit lonely. And 2, I don't know. I basically like to group things in 3 whenever possible. And in this corner, I have my big Rojo Congo. It is in this big plant stand. And in the plant stand is this massive plant pot. That plant pot is actually really heavy. So it's a testament to how strong the plant stand is. I feel like the Rojo Congo really needs to be up and off the floor to really be appreciated. It's a little bit dusty. I should wash the leaves soon. And I believe the plant stand was from HomeSense as well. And the pot, it was either thrifted or from a garden center, but it's a good find. I like gold. I feel like gold kind of goes with my pastel palette, and I feel like gold goes well with green. In my mind it does anyway. All right, we are in my bedroom right now, and here are the other 3 wall planters that I was mentioning. So I've got 2 pothos and then my ZZ Raven in there. This room doesn't get a ton of light. It gets some, but these plants do really well, and I think the planters look perfect. They're just like above our bed like that. I love it. Here's another plant pot that I absolutely adore. I think it is so cute. I made it. It has a nice little brown saucer that I made that fits the pot perfectly. This is one of my most recent makes, and I feel like my skills have really increased. I know that my early planters are really cute, but this one I feel like the quality is really good for me anyway. The inside is glazed and the outside is just glazed with these mushrooms, which is a skill that I didn't have before. Anyway, I'm really proud of that one. I think it looks really cute with that Marble Queen pothos in it. Now over here, these are really backlit, but in this little like swing thing that my husband got me, these are 2 peperomias, and these are in failed tumblers. These were supposed to be little tumblers with holes for straws. It was something I tried. It didn't work out. They cracked and they're no longer food grade. I wasn't sure if I should keep them. I considered just throwing them out because they don't work, but I thought they might be perfect for these plants if they fit in the holes of the swing thing, and they do. And yeah, they have this like indent, but you don't even see it because that's at the back of the planter and it's facing the window, so you would never see it. And I got to keep them and use them for something. They don't have a drainage hole, obviously, because they're supposed to be tumblers. But because they are kind of hanging like this, I don't really want them to have a drainage hole because then they'd make a big mess. So I'm just really careful when I water them. These peperomias, you really don't water that often anyway because they keep water in their leaves. So it's perfect. I feel like it's the perfect combination, and I really love it. I used to just have terracotta pots in here, which were also very cute, but this I feel like is so much more unique. I love it. This is kind of our spare bedroom storage. Lots of things are stored in here, and this is my plant supply cupboard, and I'm going to show you inside. It's actually pretty organized right now. I organized it recently. I have some pots that I'm not using at the moment, but I wanted to show you. I always have extra pots, that's the problem. On the top of this cupboard, look, more baskets. Those are full of my kids' craft supplies, which I love having, but are very unsightly. So they go in the basket, and then this area just looks cute. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so first thing, I am stocked up. There's another basket. I just have baskets everywhere. I am stocked up on Molly's Aeroid mix. Can you tell I'm a fan? So here's just like, okay, I like how I said it was organized. It doesn't look super organized. I have some grow lights in here and like tripod, things like that, gift wrap, you know, the things that you keep in here. Extra trellis for my tomato planter. This thing, this is another failed tumbler. I don't know if you can see, but there's just some cracks. I love it so much. I even made like indents for my thumb and finger. I loved this so much, and it looked so good when it came out of the kiln. And then the cracks, you know, when you fill it with water, you can kind of see the cracks. Anyway, it's a fail. I'm thinking I could use it as a vase, but the top is so awkward. Like, this was supposed to be for a straw. The top is so awkward that as a vase, you would really notice that unless it was, you know, a trailing plant. Something like the string of hearts could work in this, but obviously I already have some string of hearts. Something like that. Maybe just pothos cuttings. Something that I'm okay just growing in water, because I don't think I'm going to put soil in there. That would be really annoying. But it's so cute. So I'm hanging on to it, even though, you know, it is not food grade. And then down here is all the pots. So I guess I have to pull out. So I have a lot of things that are just from thrift stores that are cute. That's actually not from a thrift store. My friend gave me that one. So this one, also have a macrame hanger, you know, things that I might need someday. This one is cute. It is cute. I don't love the blue. I feel like the blue doesn't go with my pink and green and gold and all that. It's more of a cool color, whereas I'm going for more warm colors. I know it's still cute, and the feet are so cute. It's, you know, obviously just a cover pot. It does have some cracks. It actually has quite a few cracks. Look at that one. But I will use it at some point. It is cute. I would incorporate it if I had the perfect plant. What's back here? Okay, here is just something I thrifted, and then I tried painting it with neon pink paint. I don't think it looks great, but again, I'll use it if needed. These are all fairly generic. Oh, this one. I love this one. I love this one. And to be fair, I did copy something I saw on Pinterest. So if you are the artist that made that one on Pinterest, don't worry, I will not sell this. It's just for my own personal use. I didn't copy it exactly, but just got inspired by it. So I just put tape on again and then glazed over top of the tape. I like how it turned out. This needs a fairly small plant, so I'm just waiting for the perfect specimen. And what else? Oh geez. Okay. These are just like plates. So I love collecting cute plates as saucers. This one is super cute. I really like how it turned out. However, and so this is just a nursery pot that I cut down so that when I do plant something in there, I did have a succulent in there for a while. It's just so shallow. I'm trying to do this with two hands. It's just so shallow that it really needs to be something that is not ever going to have much of a root system. I had a succulent in it and the succulent actually died because, well, I don't know why it died, but I don't think it had enough room for roots. I'm not sure, but it is cute. I might just use it for something else, not plants. It doesn't have a drainage hole, so it could be used for all kinds of things. The rest I think is terracotta. I have this beautiful, birch basket, birch bark basket, which is handmade, not by me. It is gorgeous. I don't know, I had a plant in it for a while, but then I felt like it didn't really go well with plants. I don't know what to use it for. I want to use it for something. It's so beautiful. I want to display it. Just haven't found the perfect thing. So it's in here for now, but I'm sure it will be on display soon again. Okay, I think that's enough from the planty display coverage. Here's all my seeds, but that's going way off topic. All right, friends, that is all from me for today. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing all my plant pots. I really enjoyed sharing about them. That was really fun. I hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you in my next video. Bye.